You ever have one of those mornings where you wake up thinking, well, there's no way today's going to be a circus, and then bam, by noon, you're watching a full-blown suburban war unfold at your own front gate? Yeah, that happened. I mean, if you told me a few years back that I'd end up in a property standoff with a power-tripping HOA president and her clipboard militia, I probably would have laughed, poured myself another cup of black coffee, and gone right back to mending fences. But here we are. And if you're listening, buckle up, because this is not your average HOA drama. This is private property warfare, Carolina style. Let me back up a sec. My name's Robbie Goodman, 43. Ex-combat medic, once ran with the best of them overseas, now mostly just run my own sanity out here in the woods of Moore County, North Carolina. 6 years ago, I ditched city life, bought myself 20 acres of old tobacco land, run-down house, crooked barn dock, barely hanging over a half-wild creek trees, so thick you could lose yourself on purpose if you had to. No fancy amenities, no quarterly newsletters, nobody lecturing me about mailbox colors, just me, my land, and enough quiet to hear my own heart beating. Now the barn, yeah, it leans a bit, but I fixed it up, even registered it with the county. Horses out back, Buck and Nellie, both living their best retired lives. A solar rig and a generator keep the lights on, and I got a dock sturdy enough for fishing or sitting and listening to wind in the pines. Not survivalist, not fancy, just free. I started blogging about it, maintenance, bushcraft, whatever, mainly to keep my own head straight, but it caught on with some ex-military folks off-gridders, even a couple cranky electricians. Somehow I became that guy in the woods with the barn. But then, suburbia started creeping in. Willow Heights popped up just north of my fence, a real Stepford Wives kind of place, everything beige and freshly sodded, rules for the rules and speed bumps every 50 feet. I watched it spread, but as long as it stayed over there, I was fine. Until Karen Beeksley showed up. I'm talking helmet hair, pastel cardigan, clipboard like an extra limb. She introduced herself as HOA president, and get this, actually told me she dreams of a county where all landowners follow the same standards. I told her my dream was folks minding their own damn business and not naming their dogs after French desserts. Last weekend, I wasn't thinking about HOA drama. I was thinking about campfires and bad country music with 3 of my oldest friends from Afghanistan, Troy, Justin, and Cortez. Our annual hunting week tradition, which mostly involves grilling meat, telling war stories, and pretending we're not too old for bourbon and MREs. The guys brought all their gear, including Cortez's homemade generator, and a satellite uplink he swears is for fantasy football, but nobody believes him. We had the fire ring set, lanterns hung, bourbon poured. Felt like maybe, just maybe, this was going to be a weekend where nothing goes sideways. Of course, fate had other plans. First sign of trouble. 6 a.m. Sunday. My motion sensor by the north gate chirps. I'm in the barn, half awake, coffee in hand, thinking it's a deer. But when I check the trail cam monitor, I see 3 people, 2 men, 1 woman, decked out in matching polos and carrying more electronics than the sheriff's office. Clipboard, tablet, the works. They're already 20 feet inside the property, not sneaking, just marching in like they own the place. So I radio the guys, and let's just say, for 4 veterans, we snapped into situation mode real quick. We met the patrol by the barn. Cortez was first step away from the barn and dropped the clipboard, sir. The woman flinched. Clipboard guy froze, and the tall one in the faux military vest tried to give us the "we're just inspecting" routine. I cut him off, reminded them that hopping my locked gate isn't a code inspection, it's trespassing. The lady tried to cite some HOA section about structures near shared boundaries. I told her sweetheart visual compliance review doesn't override trespass law. And for the record, my land's not your damn HOA. Things got a little tense. Cortez flicked on his helmet cam. Justin leaned against the barn, calm as you please, while Troy stood behind me looking like he could bench press a truck. I called the Sheriff Beth on dispatch, didn't even blink, sent out Sheriff Danvers, who knows my place like his own. When Danvers pulled up, he saw the situation in one glance. Trespassers in HOA polos, all of us standing there like it's high noon. Karen's crew tried to bluff, said they were checking for unsafe storage and community safety. Sheriff Danvers shut them down hard. This isn't your community. This is private freehold, and that gate is legally marked. He actually gave me the choice press charges, or let them off with a warning. I let him stew them a while, but ultimately he told them to get off my land and tell Karen to call him next time. They left in a cloud of shame and dust, dropping a clipboard as they fled. Now you'd think that would be the end of it, right? Nope. By 10:30, a white Lexus SUV glides up to my gate. Karen Beaksley herself, full battle regalia heels, clacking pink blazer blinding in the morning sun. She's already fired up, shouting about dangerous activity on land adjacent to a family community. Claims my hunting buddies are armed militias, my generator's a threat, the whole 9 yards. I tried to keep it civil, but she starts waving her tablet, yelling about gasoline cans and property values. When she reaches over my gate to shove the tablet in my face, Troy blocks her. She shoves him, big mistake. Right on cue, the sheriff pulls up again. Danvers sees the whole thing. Karen halfway through my gate, hand on Troy's chest. Cortez's camera rolling. She tries the classic "they assaulted me" line, but Danvers doesn't buy it. He reviews the footage and arrests her on the spot, trespass and simple assault. Karen goes full meltdown, screaming about calling the mayor, the governor, the UN for all I know. Danvers is unfazed, leads her to the cruiser, and I gotta say it was oddly satisfying watching that gate swing close behind her. By Monday, Cortez's video of HOA president arrested for attacking a veteran on his own land was all over local blogs and Facebook. Reporters started calling. People love a story where the clipboard loses, but I knew it wasn't over. Karen doubled down, took out a full-page ad in her HOA newsletter calling me a paramilitary threat, called my barn a tactical bunker, even claimed my generator was a mobile signal warfare device. Troy and the guys nearly died laughing. But my lawyer, Savannah Lawrence, a real jag bulldog, wasn't laughing. "That's not just trespass, that's attempted regulatory fraud and defamation," she said. She fired off a cease and desist, then a civil suit, trespass, defamation, emotional distress, attempted regulatory overreach, the works. She tied every patrol, every letter, every fake inspection right back to Karen's presidency. Karen fired back with mailers painting us as extremists. Even sent out a PR firm and a fake zoning consultant who got so spooked by 4 vets eating pancakes next to their rifles he left without even knocking. But the county records office turned up the real bombshell. Karen had forged zoning maps and tried to extend HOA jurisdiction right onto my parcel. That's felony fraud. Savannah moved fast, filed for an emergency injunction, requested a full audit, and copied every local reporter she could find. Then came the twist. One of Karen's own board members leaked a memo outlining plans to annex my land into Willow Heights as Phase 2 integration. All hell broke loose. County board called an emergency meeting, news vans circled, and the HOA board started deserting Karen like rats from a sinking ship. By the end of the week, Karen showed up one last time, this time with a PR flunky and some handbag-wielding lawyer. Tried to offer me a settlement in exchange for retracting my claims. I told her, off the record, I got 6 trail cams on you right now. When she hissed, "You think you're the hero," I just smiled. "You sent a patrol onto my land, forged maps, and now you're here begging because you finally realize I'm not bluffing." That night, Savannah filed the final suit: defamation, fraud, attempted annexation, emotional distress, plus damages. The sheriff launched a criminal investigation into the entire HOA board. And the very next day, during the county board hearing, the big reveal: dropped live my land in the middle of their secret green zone expansion, exposed for the world to see. The board voted to suspend and then dissolve the HOA's enforcement rights. Karen just sat there, couldn't even look up. Saturday morning, real peace finally rolled in. No more patrols, no more HOA vehicles lurking at the fence. Sheriff called to say they were searching Karen's house, and the HOA office turned up stacks of fake documents, maps, Financial records showing Karen spent HOA money on PR firms and private investigators. Her plan wasn't just about community standards. She wanted my land, my barn, my hill, my creek. That afternoon, deputies handed me the official charges: criminal trespass, falsifying documents, misuse of funds, and assault. As I nailed that court notice up on the barn wall right beside my old deed, I felt something like relief. The boys and I celebrated the only way we know how: a fire, some smoked deer, enough bourbon to burn the paint off a pickup, and not a single speech or toast, just laughter and the sound of the wind. When the dust settled, Karen got 3 years and a lifetime ban from any community board. Willow Heights HOA was dissolved. My land reaffirmed, court-stamped mine. I got a settlement big enough to fix the dock and maybe finally oil that squeaky fence hinge. And you know what? I kept blogging, not for spite. Just so folks remember, being quiet doesn't mean being weak, and a barn isn't just a pile of wood. It's a line in the dirt, and sometimes you gotta stand on it. So let me ask you, when the clipboard army comes knocking at your gate, do you stand your ground or fold? Ever tangled with an HOA, hell-bent on taking what's yours? Drop your stories down below. I want to hear the wildest thing your neighborhood ever tried to pull. And if you believe in land freedom and the right to be left the hell alone, hit subscribe, share your thoughts, and tell me, where do you draw your line?